Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my review of this week's episode of The Originals on the CW. This week we've seen Season 4, Episode 7, which is called High Water and a Devil's Daughter. And, this review is a little bit late, but I did manage to get out on the night of at least. Just had to catch up on some other things and kind of doing some other stuff after I got out of work. But, it's the earliest I've been on my reviews for the originals in a little while, so that's good. But yeah, so this episode, I liked it, quite a bit. It definitely moved the plot along and gave us more to chew on with the Hollow thing for sure. Because I have liked Season 4 so far, I think it's a very cohesive season. It's pretty well strung together, I think. It's kind of pieced together pretty well. But at the same time, these past few episodes I've kind of felt a little bit, I don't know if I want to say like flat or, just like we're just kind of just waiting for something to really grab us about all this. And I think it's starting to happen. I'm still liking all the Marcel stuff. The Marcel stuff was really good in this episode. Klaus and Marcel, in particular, I liked the development with their dynamic and where that's at now. But we'll talk more about that in a couple minutes. In this episode, you also had Vincent and Elijah, sort of working together just to, try and get to the Hollow and everything. They sort of butt heads. Vincent kind of lays into Elijah towards the end of the episode, saying how just soulless he is, basically. How does he remember like a fraction of what it's like to be human? How could he, put these girls in danger to try and, do what they were doing to go against the Hollow? So I thought that was good. That was all right. I just wish it wasn't Elijah, having to, take on all this himself. But he did, promise Klaus that, he would try and do all the dirty work, basically. So, excuse me. So, Hope won't have to see him as a monster potentially. But she does see him with blood on his hands, in this week's episode, or paint, right? But, I think Hope's, smart enough to know, she's going to piece things together eventually one way or another and sort of make up her own mind about it. It's definitely not as simple as, like good or evil with them. They're just very loving to their family and they're willing to do anything to protect their family. So, really, that's not evil to me. That's not soulless. It's, I don't know. we could talk about that for a while. But, those ideas have been brought before and everything like that. But I think really when it comes down to it, we'd all do anything to protect those closest to us. So I don't really blame them. I don't blame the Michelsons whatsoever. But anyway, although, sometimes they go to great lengths. But again, I'm sure we would too if we were immortal vampires. Anyway. Klaus sort of had a more limited role in this episode, being locked up in, their place, with the boundary spell and everything like that, just in order to keep them safe and everything. But Dominic and his people eventually get through. Again, fun seeing the actor playing Dominic because he played the brain surgeon in Season 8 of Dexter. And this is also a pretty good Freya episode, too. Freya's one of my favorite characters on the show. And I'm glad the writers have kept her around for as long as she has been. And I'd like to think now that she'll be through to the end of the series, whenever that is. I hope we at least get one more season out of this, please. And I liked her. I liked both her scenes with Keelin, sorry, in this episode. As well as just her going back and forth with Dominic and, when the guys came at her in the, Marcel's penthouse or, whatever you want to call it. And just the way she threw them around a little bit and everything, the sort of the power struggle with them, I thought was pretty cool. I was worried about Freya at first because, like I said, I watched this episode a little bit late tonight. So I did see like a spoiler on YouTube saying, Dominic kills Freya. I'm like, what the fuck? No, if they do that, but he technically does, I guess, in a way, but of course, she finds her way back and everything thanks to Keelin, which is really nice. We'll talk about them in another minute, what actually happened with them, finally. But my favorite thing about this episode, and the thing that surprised me the most, was the focus we got on Marcel and Klaus, and their relationship, of course, with Hope going down to Marcel to talk to him. She's not afraid, she's a Michelson, right? And so they spend some time sort of getting to know each other, and I really appreciated what Marcel said about Klaus here. When Hope was asking him why he hated her father, why he hates her father, and he can't honestly say he does, just because he's loved him for as long as he has. So I thought there was actually some touching moments regarding Klaus and Marcel in this episode, and they butted heads towards the later part after that, but I think it did still re-emphasize that there is still this bond and love between them that won't really go away. And I like that they're working together, and I'm glad it's worked out this way this season. I said before it started that Marcel won't be the big bad. There's going to be something that kind of brings them together again. This is kind of starting to, so I'm really liking how they're doing it so far. So that part was really strong. And like I said, with Freya and Keelin, I'm sorry, I'm butchering the name. She's just completely worried about Freya. Freya sort of wants to separate herself from her, just to, as a way of keeping her safe, distancing herself, punishing herself in a way too. But they end up sharing a kiss anyway in the middle of the street, which is nice. I'm happy for Freya. She hasn't done anything like this since we've seen her on the show. Besides that, one, drunk scene, briefly, but this is, totally different, this relationship and connection they have. So I really like how things are going with them so far, although I do think Keelin will end up being collateral damage of some form at some point, which is unfortunate, but it's nice to have for now. I liked Hayley in this episode too, although her role is a bit brief. Still did like it. I liked when they were talking about hope and everything like that, so... and then Elijah, he also, gets the trace back to, a certain family, finding out, about Tyler Lockwood being killed not too long ago, tying into the Vampire Diaries. And next week's episode 8, we're going to be seeing a crossover, with Matthew Davis, appearing as the Laurik Saltzman of the Vampire Diaries. So that's going to be really cool, because it's, actually continuing after TVD now, which is awesome. So I'm really eager to see how those scenes go, so that should be really good. Like I said, I really like this episode. If I'd rate it about an 8.8 out of 10. I almost rated it a 9 out of 10. But this is definitely one of the best episodes of the season for sure, and what probably brought it up to almost 9 for me, what made me almost want to put it there was, getting the Marcel and Klaus stuff. And I think we've only seen the surface of how things are going to turn around for them this season, hopefully. I think there's going to be a bigger scene to come of that, too. And also, Sophia, or whatever her name was killed by Dominic earlier on. Also, Klaus knocking his head off, by the way. That was awesome. His eyes going into that hybrid mode when he brought up Hope, his daughter, and then boom. So that was awesome. But yeah, then with this hollow, this entity, taking over Sophia, and to me, this form that it had before it got to her, it looked a lot like Davina, and Vincent was channeling Davina in this, supposedly, to, use her as a way to, give them the boost they need, and this hollow is pretty annoyed that the ancestors are back into play, which kind of makes sense for Davina, and the form looked a lot like Davina. So I was hoping they weren't just going to resurrect Davina, and I'm glad they haven't really. But if they have her around and make her sort of this villain, this hollow somehow, I think that'll be good, Because I've never liked Davina. If they're going to bring her back, let's bring her back as this evil force and have her destroyed. But let me know what you guys think about all that. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.